Oh my goodness, what is going on? Technical difficulties. 1 second. All right. Something is afoot. Mm. All right, really, we're having trouble with your live video. This is crazy. We might just have to do it without the Instagram, without the gram. Sorry, I mean, I had to jettison other live streaming platforms. I've been canceled on Twitter, so I was going to be Twitter, only X I acknowledge is Malcolm. And right now I'm having difficulties with Instagram. But I think that's more so my Wi-Fi. But yeah, also I had to jettison Twitch, which was to log in. But yeah, fun times. Um, well, internet. Um, let's just close this then. Um, let's just get to the topic at hand. If you don't know, um, about 2 decades ago, I was jumped by a garage full of strangers. All right. After that day, I have been acutely aware of being in the presence of cowards, especially that numerous. They are, people that weak who need to do that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm all for strength in numbers, like kicking the 1% out of all governing establishments and shit like that. I mean, if you're gonna fight, if I'm gonna beat somebody ass, they're not gonna be poorer than me. But yeah, when you're around people who get off on beating up or trying to beat up people because they have the numbers to do it, it's just like I just don't. I don't vibe with that kind of mindset. So it's just like I'm aware of when I'm around cowards, I don't like them to win. So it's like I was around um saw like a group of little shitheads starting to fight with a homeless dude. I went over to help, and then the cowards ran off, even though they were more numerous because they weren't expecting any kickback. Any They just thought that they could just beat up a homeless person, right? And now, I mean, it would be bad enough if we just had these cowards circling our communities, you know, just popping their heads up when they see someone weak enough to just take advantage of. But now we have something that's worse than teams of cowards. We have teams of cowards with power. People wearing masks, going up, abducting productive members of the community. Um, and it's crazy because if you're in California or Washington or one of these other states that claims to be so progressive and advanced, with like they call it, like it's weird. I'm from Cali, and it's this common idea that the racist people are the people in the southern states. They got the accent. You can tell this accent got southern drawl. That's how you know it's a racist piece of shit because they talk like this, and they call you a nigger to your face. Like, I'd never do that. I would never call you the N word. I will establish like laws to go after your community. Um, I'll target your children. I target your sick. I'll make sure you don't get health care. You starve and you're hungry, but I won't call you the N word. And that's kind of like the West Coast states. I mean, you could exclude Oregon because some of those racist people out there, they're more upfront about it. You know, you get the parts of it. Maybe Portland, they quiet it down, but that's the coward talk. You know, like the people who um they won't they say some nasty shit to your face, but then they're all about supporting policies that target your community. And it just reminds me, it was a book. It was like the history of make believe, and you know, ironically, I was like one of the first videos I made on my Nace Vlogs channel was responding to some person, some little racist piece of shit. Um, and I was like, you know, kind of bringing up the book History of Make Believe, because in the book they were talking about how the KKK it evolved instead of them being like a hate group. You know, around the 70s when Joe Biden was getting into office, they were like, no, we don't hate anyone. We love our own people. We just love white culture. We love all this, you know, the rape and the genocide. We don't celebrate it, but we project all of that shit on the brown people who are coming back for their land. Because let's never forget that we are in brown people land. If white people stayed in these lands long enough, their skin would get dark. Because that is the the way the human body adapts to these climates. Uh, you know, but now you know the cowards. They're like, we gotta, you know, we love this. We love our culture so much. We want to do something about immigration and immigration. The only sensible time to do something about immigration. I said it before and I'll say it again. Only sensible time to do something about immigration was in 1491. Um, After 1492, the cat was out of the bag. The fox was running the hen house. Um, and it's just right now, uh, members of my union are being arrested. They're being detained after contributing to their communities for decades. They're being targeted by the most worthless members of our society, these ICE agents, these cowards with power. Empowered cowards are, that's a sign that your society is failing. When you start putting powers and abilities into the weakest members of your society. I mean, you should have known something was up. You see Trump and Elon Musk coming together to do something when they're agreeing on something. Two scions of wealth and privilege, never contributed anything of value to a society, but then they put their names on stuff. Trump, he's like, oh, Trump everything. He's they got the Trump buildings, right? Why is he so well known for just owning shit? Because he comes from the family of owners. It's not like he's out there building land. He's actually helping develop stuff. He comes from money, and when you have that kind of money, you can't go broke. You know, we talk about billionaires. Talking about $10 million, you should be able to live off the interest of that. That's 500,000 an interest on just $10 million in a basic interest maximizer account, right? We talk about people who are not only rich as fuck, like Elon Musk, right? Richest man in the world publicly, right? How did he get his money? Emerald mines. He thought the South African emeralds were his family's because that's just the way fate um, skewed everything. It is really not fate. It's murderous rampage. All the shit that they accuse brown people of doing. Oh, they're coming to our country. They're rapists and violent, disgusting people. That's everything that they're projecting themselves onto the brown people, who really just, you know, like our economy is based on that shit. Instead of targeting members of my union who contribute so much to our society, um, And also, like I said, union gig, you got to have all kinds of paperwork. You got to go through all of this stuff. Uh, uh, so I wouldn't even be mad at the venues and when it comes to the situation I'm talking about. When we start talking about like uh, they had entire factories. I showed up with a bus and just locked up everybody in the factory. Right? They did nothing about the factory owner. Right? If immigration is so bad, why are we only focused on the immigrant? It's just like prostitution is so bad, it's so horrible, but we only arrest street prostitutes, right? That's a way of uh preventing to protect the most vulnerable. Okay, like it was a book on Eunice Carter. She was responsible for going after Lucky Luciano. He was a mob member, mafia member, who was like his game was running prostitutes, right? And they had set up the laws in Chicago to a point where it's just like it was illegal for prostitution, but the it was incentivizing prostitutes to have some kind of a pimp, some kind of a person to uh, be an enforcer, um, because they were outside of the law, uh, and then like if you don't get a pimp, you get roughed up, you get robbed, you get killed. It's one of the most dangerous professions. Um, and then a lot of times the cops they were grifting, they were taking money from uh, uh, the pimps who were looking after the women. So it was like the law is set up and constructed in a way where you look at the immigrant situation. Uh, uh, ICE is basically used as the enforcers for these corporations to keep the immigrants in line. If they start like asking for a paycheck because they haven't been paid in a few weeks, and this is going on in multiple states to this day. It was like multiple cases of slavery going on now, like in states like Georgia, Mississippi. Um, they use the threat of ICE and these enforcement agencies to go after the workers who are giving us our food, our essentials, right? Never punishing the corporations that are outsourcing the jobs, never taking all the money that are going to these corporations, because let's never forget they are getting heavily subsidized. Um, but they never take any of that money and just say, like, put a stipulation, like, if you want to take any corporate subsidies, any of these government subsidies, your business has to be worker owned. That's how you keep the money in the local economy. People aren't going to Epstein Island so he can handle their taxes. Um, it's the only thing that makes sense. But we never would do a policy that actually addresses the issues and concerns. We want to scapegoat the brown people uh, because people like Donald Trump and Elon Musk, and I'm using them as placeholders. Don't get it confused. I don't think that shit just got worse because Trump got in office. Uh, Shit has been bad. My government has never been legitimate, never. And I got family fought and died for this country. Both my parents worked at military bases that knowingly poisoned them. Uh, so you can't tell me it's just like it's just like I'm not American. Go back home. I am home. I'm more home than you are. I got more native blood in me. Um, and it's just it is a disgusting sight because like I said, the cowards, cowards in power. So they're slightly, like they're out there. They still got masks on. We're after COVID. It's way after 2020. I show up and protest during 2020 when COVID full blown. I still didn't have a mask. I want you to see who I am. I want you to fear me as a person. I'm not hiding behind anything. Now you got people being abducted just going to their job. Some of them, they had people who are waiting outside of these courthouses, and they would abduct people before they can show up to their fucking trial. Um, yeah, just the biggest forms of cowardice, and they tell you, these motherfuckers, that the people who they're abducting don't deserve to be here. And I can pretty much guarantee all these motherfuckers probably support Israel. Israel is the fictitious notion that a bunch of white people um, are Zions of the land of Kemet. If you don't know, Kemet, it's like a lot of the stuff that we talk about when it comes to ancient Egypt. Um, that's Kemet. A lot of these symbols people associate with Egypt, Ankhs and Nefertiti and all that shit. That existed before Egypt. Egypt, that you can say, what we know as Egypt came around when the Europeans discovered Africa. You know, when they were getting civilized the first time, they were reconnecting with Africa, right? And the land of Kemet was bigger than just Egypt. It went down as far as Sudan, as wide as it passed through Jordan, what's now Israel, what's now Palestine. Um, Believe it or not, Kemet is the land of the black, because those climates don't create white skin. You can't live out in that dark, in that heat, and remain light. White people, they got their particular genetic mutation during an ice age, uh, about 15,000 years ago. But before that, the first Europeans were Black Africans. Um, um, that's why the white people, they don't understand how Stonehenge works, because that was a little bit before their time. They're like, it's in our neighborhood, but it's like we don't understand it because, yeah, something aliens. That's how they justify it. We don't see a loss um, of our ability to develop the structures that we had back then as uh, just cowards getting power, burning down libraries, like the Library of Antiquities, which became like Library of Alexandria, uh, because that's when the Europeans got it, and then Rome got hands of it. They burnt that shit, and then the people of Kemet, the people who the Israelites. I mean, not even call them Israelites. These European people pretending to be entitled to that land. The real people who were kicked out, they moved down to Mali. They established lands of learning in Timbuktu. That's when they had libraries that could parallel to what they had in Egypt. Um, you had Europeans who were coming through there. Did like the second wave of civilization to hit Europe during their Dark Ages, because everything that they discovered in Kemet, like, it was gone. It was just like they had all this corrupt leadership, this garbage people like their Trumps and their Elon Musks and Bill Gateses and their Joe Bidens, all of these worthless names and faces that we associate. Like, how are they contributing to society? They're contributing nothing. They're theft, right? That's what happens with Western society. You uplift the most compromised people, the people on Jeffrey Epstein's list. They're not compromised. Um, uh, because they have power. They have power because they were compromised. Yeah. And then this is who we put it in the hands of, the most worthless people. That's why it's just funny to hear your Trumps and Elon Musk talking about the waste that these social security recipients are distributing, are exhibiting, because like they're wasteful. They're getting $65 a day on the dole. Meanwhile, Elon Musk is getting like $8 million a day, right? And no plans on like cutting back his money. Like, he has no. And when I say that, the most worthless people, because he's not an American citizen. He's getting subsidies that are designed to help American businesses. So right now we can't go and get a Chinese car, right? I can't go and get the new EV from Burkina Faso. They can't do that. They would have to pay all kinds of taxes. But you got someone like Elon Musk. He's getting subsidized to give us a shittier car than the rest of the world has, because that, and he's taking the subsidies from money that's supposed to be going to support American business. So it's, when George, I almost said Clinton, uh, George Carlin, when he said it's a big club and you ain't in it, you have no idea how true that is. Because it's, Elon Musk, South Africa, they have all these connections with Israel, because when the South African apartheid regime was being busted up, a lot of them moved to Israel. They took everything they knew and brought it to Israel so they can continue their segregation and apartheid system. They refined it, and then they put a little extra stank on it because they can claim that they're the victims. So you can't say anything about them if you call out their apartheid, their genocide, any of the evil shit that they're doing. You're the problem, and it's just because you hate Jews, because they got a funny hat. That's why you hate Israel, because they wear funny hats, and they celebrate Shabbat, and I don't know what the fuck. What they think is going through the minds of people who they call anti-Semites, but right now the whole terminology, it means nothing at this point, and it's and it's just like further bastardized by, it's just like there's no coherence in anything that they say. There's not like a principle throughout any of the narrative that the West is putting forward. So it's like a bunch of white people have the right to this land that creates black skinned people, right? You can say that the Arabs weren't the first people there, because the Arabs didn't get there until like the 13th dynastic period, the 13th dynasty, and that's like after the dynastic era of Kemet, and that's like, yeah, that they weren't there from the ground up. That's our argument. But you know who would not be able to make that argument? White people. Anybody who's claiming like Netanyahu, that's his native land. Those people, they can't make that argument. You're excluded from this whole shit. It's like you're excluded from being able to talk about what happens to America. This is not your land, right? If there was a through line where they actually were principled and like, oh, this land belonged to your ancestors, so it should be yours again, then they would give California to Mexico. They would give all of America to the indigenous people who are just like getting drunk on reservations because like they saw the destruction of their people and their culture. But there is no consistency. It's just whatever is politically expedient, and it's just smear everything about the people. And right now, I'm pretty sick of it, and I'm like, yeah, the real issue with a nation of powerful cowards is there's no one who will actually uh, try to hold that position and defend it, right? And that's the thing that annoys the shit out of me. Like, I wish I was like dealing with these old school racist people where they just like they speak their mind, you know where they stand, right? Now it's just like the people, they have that "I feel your pain" language, and I started to have a conversation with someone who I know is connected with it, but he wouldn't tell me how deep it went, but he was like kind of giving he was like, just talking about how I know it's not ideal, but this is the only way things can be. It's just like, so you understand how fucked up shit is, and you're like, this is the only way things can be. That's an indicator for me, like you're getting money on being a part of the problem, and yeah, and it's just like, yeah, the nation of cowards is just like, I wish someone was strong enough, like they had the power of their convictions to stand behind what the fuck they mean, what's going on. So you have someone, a face to put on it. But it's just like, it's just so cowardly. Um, that's why I was like, I was kind of heartened when I saw what's going on in California. They were putting the ICE people on blast. They were giving tips and tricks on how to figure out if it's an ICE agent's car. So they have like a special decal in the corner, and then they were outside of uh, the hotels of these ICE agents, and you had protesters. They had uh, uh, the tow truck drivers who I normally whenever I see a tow truck driver in a town, that means it's low income, and those people are just like the tow truck drivers are stealing your cars and driving up fees and causing more poverty and despair. However, I saw them organized against the ICE agents. They were taking their cars so they couldn't abduct more people, and that's the kind of solidarity we need. Uh, but yeah, it's just yeah. Right now, I live in a cowardly state, where a lot of the people are being detained here. The people who are doing the detaining, they will never admit it, right? Like cowards. Like they'll probably talk about how much money they make, but it's like they don't call you a wetback or a beaner. They'll smile in your face and be very friendly, and then come for your family. Um, and that's like the shit that has got me fucked up. Because they're taking actual productive members of the community out, and they're getting funded to be a destructive entity. Like they are the worst of the worst, and they feel justified. And I got multiple family members who are connected to all this stuff, and I also got family fallout. I don't want to get too deep in right now, but a lot of my family who's causing the kerfuffle in our situation, they were trained by the same forces, and they have been brainwashed to the point where um, they value that slave trader currency more than the peace and harmony in their family. And it's just the crazy thing is, it's the people with the most money who are destroying the family for more money because they think the poor people don't deserve it. Even though they got all their housing, they got all. I don't want to get into all of it, but it's just like, it is just a mind virus, and we got to rid the world of cowards. We need to have honorable people in positions of power, um, not these mass cowards destroying everything, standing on nothing, and it's just I I just wanted to tap in, and I know it's been a while, but a lot of the stuff I've been dealing with has been kind of oriented. I had a friend found out that they died recently, and then find out that the ICE is going after members of my union with my family shit. And I honestly just see pretty much all of it is connected. Um, and, it's a society in decline, and yeah, it's Crush Ice, California, all of the people who are proactively going after ICE, protesting them, making it so they don't have a moment of peace. Just keep on doing what you're doing. I'm gonna put my foot on the neck of a coward. I mean, they're harder to figure out um, in certain areas, but you know, I'm like I said, I'm acutely aware. It's just that they cover up a lot of their agenda with nice sounding language. So, but I'm looking forward to every state showing up outside of these ICE agents' residences, wherever they may be, and holding them accountable for the destructive ways. And we got to be better. And yeah, I'll tap in. Hopefully, next time I'll be able to have stream on multiple on my other device because Instagram is usually got more insightful comments. I don't even see where the comments are on this shit, but uh, uh, I'll be tapping in again. I just wanted to catch up to date. If you guys could say goodbye to Beastie. Well, I'm about to take him home. Um, yeah, so I do got other stuff to take care of, but I'm glad you guys could show up and toodaloo. Peace.